It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. That's the opening line for A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. Maybe some of you, unlike me, actually read that book, because I'm going to use that quote for something else. Hey everyone, Juzo here. Today we're going to be talking about the toxicity in the gaming community. Now, what do we define as being toxic in gaming? Well, I searched it up, and this is what I found. A toxic player is someone who negatively impacts the game in an intentional way. Bad gameplay and lack of understanding is not being toxic. However, bashing anyone in a game, leaving when things aren't going your way, or intentionally aiding the enemy in any form is toxic. I think this is a good definition that most people agree with. The only thing they left out is that toxic gamers also tend to be very racist, homophobic, sexist, and explore every other form of bigotry, which should never be allowed anymore. While I agree with most of the definition, I think what passes for toxic nowadays is a bit of an overreach sometimes. For starters, when someone starts to rage quit, I don't necessarily call that toxic, more like extremely childish. I'd rather someone rage quit and turn off their game system than ending up breaking their mouse and keyboard or their controller. So that's why I personally don't call it toxic, but I do find it incredibly annoying though. This is the same when people start throwing games. It's very childish, it's very immature of people. I think some people just need to learn how to lose, how to be humble. But if I had to scale it on like a toxic scale, I'd say this is like a 3 out of 10. Like I said before, bigotry should not be allowed in any form in any gaming community. But I'm gonna be honest here for a second. Any other form of banter, shit talking, trash talking, I like it. I think it's always been a part of the gaming community, and I think it will continue to do so. Let me take you down memory lane for a second. The first console I got to play with random people online was a PS3, primarily NW3 and the GOAT! Black Ops 2. Back then, people were, how do I say it? Very opinionated of each other.
Fucking deal!
I found it, and I camped it, and I
fucking deal! It's like, hey mom, I played with my dick today. Nobody cares. It's not a feat. Anyone can do that. You find someone's tax insertion, you wait for them to spawn, then you film how the fuck you want. Whoopsie fucking do.
Dude, you and 9 and 23
You talk shit like a loser. I thought you just won, yet you're talking shit like a little bitch.
Now, this wasn't shocking to me as a young kid because I was doing this even before I had a PlayStation 3. I will always be playing video games with my brother. Go check him out, by the way. He's really good. Now, anyone with siblings could tell you competition against each other is pretty normal on anything, really. So me and my brother will always try to outbest each other in video games all the time. When one of us will win, we definitely have bragging rights for a while. We would talk trash to each other all the time. It meant nothing. We knew we were just playing. It was no different than when I would go hang out with my friends at school or at the park. We would talk shit, make jokes, but we knew we would never take it seriously. I grew up like this, and I assume many of you did as well. Don't get me wrong, I know no one likes to lose, especially losing streaks. When I would play my PS3 and I was on a losing streak, I would start bitching and getting tight. Hell, I've broken controllers before because of it too. I don't exactly remember what age I was, but I stopped playing games for like a really long while. I just figured I was getting too mad and I was taking them way too seriously and I needed to go outside more. So I just went cold turkey and avoided them for years. I would be focused on school, hanging out with friends. We would just play outside or just chill. And when we would get competitive, when we would be doing stuff, we would just talk trash to each other all the time. It was never seriously. No one ever said it was a bad thing. No one ever told us anything. We would tease each other in front of teachers, parents, supervisors. No one ever said anything to us. So shit talking was normal. At least to me it was. And I thought it was normal for most people. I thought we just had like thicker skin. This went on. Years later, I started playing video games again since a lot of my friends were always on. I got an Xbox One, and I don't know about y'all, but I noticed how things change. How little did people actually get on their mics anymore. Remember, I had a PS3, so there was no party chat system in that console. So people would just talk on their mics in the lobbies. It was a regular thing to do. But the Xbox did have a party chat system, so I just assumed that most people were playing with their friends in their party chat, so that's why lobbies were always so quiet. It was a miracle you found a game lobby full of mics in the Xbox One. At least to me it was. And since the PS4 started having a party chat system as well, I assumed the same thing happened to that console. You would still hear trash talk from occasion, but it was nothing like how it was before. Later on, my friend keeps telling me, hey, you should check out PC gaming. At first, I wasn't that interested into it, but eventually I decided to try it out. Switching from a controller to a mouse and keyboard was definitely hard at first. What made it worse was the first game I ever played on the PC was Garry's Mod, and I had no clue on how it worked, how to join lobbies, and I definitely got shitted on by everyone the first few times. It was pretty toxic, but looking back at it, it was pretty funny. So after that, I decided to take a big break from PC gaming. I just figured it wasn't for me, but eventually I decided to play again. I would play with my girlfriend. We played things like Minecraft, Borderlands series, Portal, Left 4 Dead, basically any game that I didn't have to play with other people online, because I was just trying to get used to playing on the PC, getting my hands used to keyboards. And that went on till this year. Earlier in the year, I bought Overwatch, and I thought it was pretty cool. I was like, let me check it out. I'll buy it for the PC. After I installed it on my computer, I noticed that there was no story mode on it. You just had to play online and training mode. That was it. I was like, oh damn. At first, I definitely saw the skill difference between me and everyone else. You know, there's some guys here that have been playing PC games since like they were 10, and I just started playing online against other people for like a week. It's cool. It's whatever. I don't mind. I know I'm trash. Anyways, my friend wanted to play with me so he can show me tips on how to play the game. I was like, great. I kept seeing people type weird stuff in the chat. I constantly asked him, hey, what do these things mean? An example would be like, hey bro, what does GGWP mean? Oh, that means good game well played. Things of that sort. I learned a lot of them within that first week. One day I'm playing alone, and my team on one game loses terribly, and I mean Avatar the movie terribly. I see someone from the enemy team say GG easy. It doesn't take a genius to figure out what that means. I did a small chuckle since I never heard that term before. And out of nowhere, so many people on my team start spamming to report. I was so confused. I started thinking, does GG easy mean something else? Turns out, no, it just means good game easy. I was scratching my head trying to figure out why is everyone so pressed. I asked one of my teammates, and they just responded that it's extremely toxic. I'm not gonna lie, I laughed a little cause I thought he was just joking. He wasn't. I couldn't believe it. How did something so small get people so triggered? I just thought, hey, you just jumped into a lobby with a lot of sensitive kids, so I forgot about it. This happens a second time a few weeks later, and I was still shocked by how hostile people get when this little tease gets thrown out. So one day I decided to say it at the end of a match, just to confirm if it's actually something that people get offended by, or if it's just a few rare instances of sensitive people that I bumped into. And boom, I was wrong. Right after I said it, people were reporting me, people were saying that I was extremely toxic. What's crazy about all this, and it drives me really nuts, is that so many people had to complain about GG Easy that Blizzard actually had to have a filter system to filter it out every time you want to say it. So in order to type it, you have to say it in a different way in order to pass the filter. Call me an SJW, but how is it possible to type almost all derogatory words and slurs, but GG Easy for some reason gets a filter system? That's so ridiculous. I searched online if people found GG Easy toxic, and oh my god, the consensus was, yeah, it's toxic and that it should be reported. Hell, you could even get banned on League of Legends for saying it, and I thought League of Legends was the Chernobyl of toxic gaming communities. I don't know who needs to hear this, but GG Easy is the weakest fucking roast you could throw at somebody when you're playing video games. The only reason it's still said is because people know they're gonna get a reaction out of it. But that's not all. I later went on to this rabbit hole to see what do people consider toxic nowadays, and the list is so long when it doesn't need to be. One thing people consider toxic in Overwatch is dancing emotes and laughing emotes. Essentially, when you get killed, someone will do a laughing emote right after you die. To me, this is just a little quirk. This is what they put it in for in the game. I don't know why this is a need to be so mad about. Another one that I learned that many people consider very toxic is when you write yawn after you won a match. Essentially trash talking the opposite team, saying that, hey, you were so easy, I'm getting tired now. Again, this is a middle school lunch table roast. It's not really a big deal. For my last example, again, I'm using Overwatch. There's 3 ways to play Overwatch. If you want to be serious, you play rank or competitive. If you want to just mess around and have fun, you go to arcade or quick play. In competitive, some people take their skill rank way too seriously in my opinion, but still. Don't go in there and be an asshole. Don't troll. Don't try on new characters. Play as a team as the game was intended to. But in quick play and arcade, it doesn't matter. You're just there to have fun, try new characters, and just hang out with your friends. Whatever. So I find it really odd when people say it's extremely toxic when some people insta-lock on a DPS and don't switch for nothing. Like I said, in competitive, true. But in quick play and arcade, come on. People just want to have fun. People just want to try out new characters. Why would you report someone for not switching an arcade? And that comes to my big problem with all this sensitivity regarding toxicity in gaming, the reporting system. The last examples I gave you, the GG Easy, the emotes, the yawn, the getting mad at Instalock for DPS, these are all now report worthy. They never were. If you had to scale these will all be like a 3 to 4 out of 10 in a toxic scale. Like, I don't think someone should be reported or banned or suspended or have any sort of penalty because they just always want to insta-lock as Hanzo. I think that's a super ridiculous standard we're setting for what is reporting worthy. And also, I think we just have to lighten up a little more because some of them are actually pretty funny. The best one I could think of was one time we were playing Overwatch and we lost terribly. And someone on the other side of the team said, "Damn, I thought I put these bots on hard mode." And I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty funny. After all this, I don't think we should go back to the MW2 days because there was actual problems within those communities back then. There was some racism, there was some sexism, there was all kinds of hate back then. I don't want that to return. But besides all that garbage, I can't lie to you, there is a nostalgic feeling there is when you could talk trash to someone and they would talk trash back and then you guys will go back and forth and the entire chat will be laughing. Those were nice days, I can't lie. I think in anything competitive, especially something like video games, there's always going to be an element of banter and trash talking, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think us as a community just need to lighten up a bit more and not take games too seriously. But don't let my video or beliefs similar to mine make you tolerate actual toxic behaviors because those need to actually be called out. I'm sticking to Overwatch since it's the game I mostly play. Some examples of actual toxic behavior in this game are people trying to dox you, berating you, threatening you, or being bigoted towards you. Also, people who want to be like trolls who decide to play Mei and start walling people into areas and constantly doing it. I think that's pretty toxic and annoying. It ruins the fun for most people.
Oh my god.
Sorry,
I'm gonna kill our Mei. Oh my god. Oh, I can't choose. Any good at his game? Oh
Yeah,
my lord.
And this last one could be used for any gaming community since this one usually pushes people away from trying out PC games. But when someone is trying a new game or is trying PC games for the first time and they get constantly berated and insulted and harassed because they don't know how the game is played, I think this is a little fucked up and not fair to many people. Remember, everyone has the capability of being toxic, and I think most of us have been toxic in the past, but the goal is to strive away from that and to become more positive towards other people. Anyways, that's all for this video. Thank you all for watching. I didn't do a political video because Trump and his goons have been annoying me nonstop and giving me headaches. But if you liked what you watched, like and subscribe. Check out my other videos as well. Follow me on Twitter at IamJuzo. Thank you and all. Goodbye.